I'm not talking about technologically connected, I'm talking about connected as human beings, emotionally connected. You know, there's a lot of sad things happening in the world. Whether you want to think about it that way, or whether you want to think about it in the enterprise in terms of it's really hard to connect your workforce and and keep your workforce engaged, because we're in this like work from home, hybrid, future of work situation. So one, human beings need connected, and we control sight and sound. The second thing, why it's really our opportunity, is because AI is just about compute, data, and neural networks. And for all industries, for most companies, the only differentiating factor there is data. And yet we have eyes and ears everywhere. Okay, so that's where our industry is really set to capture the moment. And then the third, and I won't go through too much in terms of the synopsis here, but there's a lot of hard work that we need to do in terms of engineering solutions properly, in terms of leveraging AI to be more creative, in terms of using our creativity as well as our technology to deliver exceptional experience. So there's a lot of work that we can do. We can get into that also.
Perfect. Okay, well, I'm going to test the bravery of our audience, and if not, I did speak with a couple of you before this, so I have a couple of seeded questions from you, but I wanted to make sure that we got your questions answered. That's why we're here. So anybody feeling brave? Anybody have a question? Yes, I'm going to walk over. Actually, this is not a good choice. Yes, please. Thank you. Or this gentleman in the third row.
This is a microphone.
So I suppose my question.
Yeah, it's on. It's really low. There you go.
Oh, so I suppose my question is surrounding making the trek back into work more favorable and worthwhile experience. So we're with Federal Highway Administration, and just over the pandemic setup that they've had, collaboration and conferencing. It's been set. So coming back into the office, how does what AI-based solutions are there now that make coming back into the office a favorable experience, an easy experience that they can have, versus what they already have at home, just join the Teams meeting?
Yeah, great question. Everyone heard that? Everyone heard the question? There's a few solutions. Let me start with a very obvious one, which is video AI. There's a lot of solutions that you're going to see at the show today that's going to get into auto tracking, auto switching, auto cropping. And so for the far end, for the folks that are on the far end, they're just going to have a much better experience, because if you're on the far end and all you see is a conference room with a bunch of small faces, that's not a good experience, right? And so, because we're always going to have someone on the far end at this point. So video is one area, but really, whether it's your organization or any organization, the magic of the moment is to bring in not only just collaborative experiences. People will go back to work. Well, people go back to work if the boss says you have to, but that's not very effective. Okay? Someone told me that culture is not defined by butts in the seat. Makes a lot of sense. Okay? Makes a lot of sense. But people will go back to work if it's meaningful, right? Because you can do so much from home. And so meaningful means a way to engage with the workforce, a way to still have very collaborative meetings with folks on the far end, to be innovative, to be creative, to be problem solving. But they should come back to the workplace. There's a saying that I love, which is the office is the new offsite. The office is new offsite. So enterprises need to think way beyond collaboration. They need to think about how to bring in entertainment solutions. They need to think about how to bring in very immersive learning, sort of just all the magic that you see here, so that when you go back to work, it makes individuals want to go back. And when they go back, they understand why they're there. They understand the value of the on-site workplace. Because if there's no value there, and you just have a boss that says go back, I mean, think about it. You're less happy. You're probably wasting more time in terms of commuting. You have much less flexibility to take care of your family, your personal life. That does not make a productive employee, right? So it's not about butts in the seat. It's about getting people there because there's so much more value.
Love it. Right out of the gate. Yeah, great.
So thank you for a great and inspirational panel. My question is related data that is coming from smart building platforms like Spacey,
Like what?
like Spacey, for example.
Like space.
Spacey.
They're a partner of Q-Sys. That's not a plan, everybody. We did not pay him to be there.
You are a partner of Q-Sys?
Yes, we are.
In the smart spaces building?
Yes.
Well, thank you for being a partner. Thank you for being a partner.
My question is more general. So do you see the value that is coming from the data from smart buildings, right? So the data that would enhance the AV experience, for example, as a combination between, indoor air quality data, space utilization data, etc., combined with audiovisual device data.
For sure. So that's a great question, and I think it's whether you want to think about it as AV enabling smart spaces or smart spaces and enabling, it doesn't matter, right? Because it's a cohesive system. On the traditional AV side, this was getting into my eyes and ears everywhere, and so with all of that data, there's so much information in terms of just audio and video. So not even getting to all the sensors that you all do in the smart building spaces, but from the AV side. When you have eyes and ears everywhere with intelligence behind it, that is incredible information and very valuable information that could feed into smart spaces and smart buildings to really, and I think most people sort of understand the concept of what smart spaces and smart buildings are, okay? But now, AV can contribute in that direction. The other way around, smart spaces, smart buildings have so many different sensors beyond just sort of microphones and cameras. You're measuring so many things. And so that coming back into a unified platform can enable all sorts of control systems, data monitoring, data intelligence, all that, right? So what's really happening is it's not even important to think about what is the AV platform and what is the smart building platform, because they're all merging. And that's the magic of the moment. The technology, as I called yesterday, general purpose technology, it's so applicable, right? And just because the GPT brought lots of fields of AI together, from image processing to audio, so it's sort of very unified now. And the model that OpenAI just released last month, GPT-4o, is a very multimodal, right? So you're seeing everything being together. Your enterprise is coming together. The days where your ERP is separate from your CRM and separate from your BI, I mean, that is so 1990s. Okay? So the technology will be unified. So the important thing is all of these platforms need to be extensible into each other, and certainly AV is going to be very extensible into smart buildings, smart spaces, and as well as the other way around. So we can't wait to take all of your sensors from smart buildings and feed it into our ecosystem and our platform.
Anybody else?
Hello, my name's Abe, tech from Washington, Q-Sys Smart Facility. I have a bit more of a broad question for you. You mentioned, obviously, there's a lot of sad things going on in the world right now, one of which AI, particularly generative AI, using copyright materials, or there's a lot of very justified concerns. So I guess my question is, for those of us in the field or in the office, what advice do you have for the responsible and ethical use of these technologies and services as we go about it?
Yeah, that's a great question, and certainly that was one of the key things that I was mentioning yesterday after that playful sort of Joe AI sort of debate. There are a lot of really important questions that we have to answer as this technology is moving so rapidly, right? You mentioned that being one of them, right? In terms of just ethics and privacy and copyright material. I don't have great answers here. I'm going to admit that, right? But I do know that we need to work really, really hard at it. So you can go all the way from protecting creators and creativities, and there's been some movement there in terms of licensing, and there are some AI solutions that are being developed right now so that it would, quote unquote, watermark in the newest way, right? Sort of creative content so that the creator is rewarded for their content. And then you go all the way to the other extreme, which is like, AI is very dangerous. How do we regulate that? How do we put the right policies in place? That is a very, very important question that governments and leading institutions need to address. The thing is, what we cannot do is pretend that it doesn't exist or pretend that it's not going to accelerate. Because factually, this is a point I feel very strong on. Factually, it's moving, and no one is going to be able to stop this. So our efforts need to be in terms of how do we protect human values, how do we protect human value and human creation and the value that human beings are, whether it's creators or others, and how do we really develop safe AI that is aligned with human values. I don't have great answers, but I do know there's a number of folks working on it, and I really wish governments and other institutions of power can really fund a lot of this.
Part of my question was in relation to that. As you said yesterday, there's a lot of good that can come with AI, but there's also the potential of bad coming with it, depending on who's designing it, what their ethical background is. Is there anything we're doing in our industry? We have a lot of educated people where we can put together a body that creates a legislative body to actually advise the House, advise Congress to assist in that, because we know this space.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there should be a movement within our industry to really problem solve around what our industry can do, both in the area of, connecting human beings, which everyone's going to value, as well as developing solutions that's going to be very positive in this new world of AI, whether the positive is being more safe or more meaningful or more impactful. I have not thought about, do we establish something to go, to the White House and try to get a seat at the table? That's very ambitious. I like that. And so I have talked to advisors who have actually